Hello, welcome. We're off to a relatively late start. Trust you guys are doing great. Um, Closer, closer. Yeah, so we were having some amount of technical difficulties. I hate that term, but nevertheless, we're happy to be here. Just a second, please. So we're going to give persons just a few more minutes to join us, and then we'll start officially, kick it off. All right. So we have our very talented animator online. So if it is that you'd like to, share the link with your friends to give them an opportunity to take part in the event, please do so, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. All right. So hang tight, get your water, get your stuff ready, and we'll begin shortly. All right, so let's of course open with a word of prayer. Most kind and gracious Father, I want to thank you for the rain that you've sent today. May you continue to bless us and keep us in your presence. In all that we do, may we recognize that you are our creator, and the gifts and talents that you've given us are to be used in honor of you. Not that we should hide it or think that the talent that you've given us is not worth sharing, but share it with our friends, with our families, so that we can magnify you, for you have done a wonderful thing in each and every one of our lives. Amen.
Amen.
Right. Yes. So today is Career Day 21, and we'll be actually looking in animation. So of course, we want to, big up our usual sponsors, OSUB, Jamaican Developers Community, and Caribbean Tech Connect. So this is our career event number 21. All right. So as usual, we're going to go through our objectives. So we are a community of developers. I know a lot more persons would have expected to come out, but unfortunately, I don't know if the rain is causing some traffic or so on. But, we are a community of problem solvers, a community of persons thinking outside of the box. And we come together to share our skills, build and market our skills, and of course, share the knowledge that we've garnered, whether it is in animation, as Robert has done, whether it is in AI, artificial intelligence, which we've done some series on before, or even web development, which will be coming up in the next 2 weeks. So look out for our next event. All right. So if it is that you'd want to find jobs, we actually also seek to incorporate the community with persons who are able to promote their jobs to us, as long as it is tech-based, as long as it is that we are going to be using our skills and talents to solve problems. Right? Now, there's a challenge. There are companies that are having difficulties finding developers, finding persons who are able to do critical thinking. But essentially, the community is a space where we come together as developers to allow companies to be able to better able to find us. Now, the skills that we have, the experiences that we have, the community is also here to foster the various areas of computing. So whether it is that you are a UI UX, whether it is that you are interested in artificial intelligence, whether it is that you're a QA, this is essentially the area where you can come together and grow your skills. And of course, it also gives us an opportunity to create some awareness of the different products and services that are here in Jamaica. Because too many times we are buying solutions, we're buying software, we're getting persons from outside of the Caribbean to solve our problems within the Caribbean. And who better able to solve the problems within the Caribbean than those who are here, those who are better equipped, those who are familiar with the different issues and the different landscape here, right? And of course, this is our agenda for today. And I'll be introducing our speaker, after which we'll be going into our presentation. And then of course, we'll be having a Q&A section where we'll do some discussions and then wrap up and call it an evening. Okay, so this is our presenter for the evening, Mr. Robert Reid, right? And he's an animation specialist. He's also the ICT program coordinator. And we're just happy to hear more about the different skills and talents that he has. He is the producer of, I'm sorry, I'm having some amount of technical difficulty, but he's the producer of ICAT, or one of the local productions that we've seen on our local TV. So essentially, this man has a lot of talents, he has a lot of expertise, and we're definitely happy to hear from him. All right. Robert?
All right, thank you so much, Aldin. And firstly, I'd like to say it's truly an honor and privilege for me to be here. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to come and to be here and to share a little knowledge that I have with you about the animation industry. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here. And already I'm seeing some students in this group. No, I see some students from the VTDI in this in this forum. Arville is a student of the ICT program, and I think I see O'Shane Bailey, if I'm not mistaken. Are you a student of ICT program? So small world.
Well, I saw him on mute, but I didn't quite hear him. But for all the students, of course, we definitely welcome you. And for all those who are a little older, you know, whether it is that you started the working force, joined us, adding to Jamaica, paying the taxes and so on, we welcome you as well. Okay. So whenever you're ready, Robert, you can go ahead and share.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I just want to welcome the students and welcome everybody to this forum. And my name is Robert Reid. I'm as Aldin said, I'm an animation specialist. So I have been involved in the animation industry for the past over 10 years. I worked in government, the Office of the Prime Minister, Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology, to develop the animation industry in Jamaica. So I've been in government trying to kickstart the animation industry. I've also been involved in training. So I lecture animation, and I also am in charge of the animation program at the VTDI. So I also have an animation studio. It's called Imagine Tune, and I'm working on productions. So as Aldin had said before, I was not the producer, Aldin. I was not the producer, but I actually was one of the animators for that cartoon by the Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica with the ICAT. Anybody remember that cartoon? with the cat saying fishbone, fishbone, fishbone. Right? So I was one of the animators for that. I was also one of the animators for Cabby Chronicles. Anybody know Cabby Chronicles? Let me see a raise of hands if you know Cabby Chronicles. So Cabby was, yeah, right? Cleon. Great. Cabby was one of a very famous cartoon that was really popular in the Caribbean about a Jamaican taxi driver. So it was really a fun job to work in that studio. That's a little about me, and I'm really grateful to be here to share my knowledge and skills with you in hopes that you may want to pursue a career in animation. That's what I'm hoping. I'm just going to share some information about what's going on globally all over the world in animation, what's going on locally in Jamaica, and what are the steps that you could do, different training programs, different career jobs in animation, what you need to do to be an animator to enter into the animation industry. Those are some of the things I'd like to share with you. And this is a discussion. So I want you to, you can turn on your mic, you can turn on your mics, you can leave the mics on, you can turn on the cameras as well. I'd like to see you. And I'd like to hear from you as well. So before we just start, I'd just like to hear from you, like, who are you, where you're from, and are you interested in animation? I'd just like to hear from you.
Okay, so I guess I'll kick it off. So as you guys would have recognized, my name is Aldin Crossdale, and I'm actually interested in animation. Apart from indulging, watching, and just being fascinated with how different persons think and carry across stories and so on, there's of course a little ongoing story saga going on in my mind that I'm yet to put on paper. So definitely interested in animation.
All right, thank you so much, Aldin. Would anybody else like to volunteer? Zara, Aldin? Oh, we stopped Aldin already. Zara, Cleon?
Hello.
Hello, Zara. Welcome. Tell us about yourself.
So I'm not a student anymore. I actually joined the workforce. I was teaching for a bit, but now I'm interested in going into tech. So I'm just joining to find out more about like the JA developers community in general and just hearing what everyone has to say.
All right. Thank you so much, Zara. All right. Enix, saw your camera on.
Yeah, good afternoon, actually. Actually, name is Gamal. Enix is just my name I always have on this thing. All right, so I'm more than interested in it. I actually had gotten a scholarship for Sheridan College in Canada for animation, but I didn't get to do it. I didn't get to do it, sadly. The Canadian government embassy didn't want to grant me the visa at the time, which was disappointing. I actually been working with Maya from before they make it all complicated, and a couple other animation tools I've been messing around with. I do animation for a hobby. One of the first ones I did was when I was back in high school, and I'm from the era where internet just came into place. So I was there before internet, and after it, I did the first one. I believe it was one of the first Stickman, the animations, the fighting one. I had worked on that. I did that and put it on the internet for some weird reason. And if you see where it is now, I'm so proud of it. But I don't know if I'm the first one, but I know I put it up there for the when I did it. A friend of mine and I did it. So that's how far back I've been working with animation. I haven't actually gotten to do it as a profession or anything. Just hobbies. Okay. Just go and take it. So it's something that if Jamaica is going to get into it, I'd like to be a part of getting into it with Jamaica. And so I discovered this actual meeting here by accident. Somebody say, "Oh, check this out," and let's jump on it. That's why I'm here now.
All right, thank you so much. So I mean, Sheridan is a great college to go to. And if you could go on YouTube and find the link to your cartoon, please feel free to share it. I'd like to see it in the chat.
If I can ever find the old one, it's a very old one, so I'll look for it. I'll definitely look for it.
All right, thanks. What's your name?
It's actually Gamal. Gamal.
Kamal. Okay. All right. Nice to meet you, Kamal. O'Shane Bailey. I know that name.
We actually met other day through Alden Funway.
So, okay, I thought you were a student.
No, but I guess I have one of those student names, if you get what I mean.
All
All right.
right.
So for me, funnily, I'm a full stack software engineer, but I started out in programming because I wanted to become a game developer.
Okay.
Maybe in the future that will happen, but because of my passion of game development, I went into animation, learning Adobe Fireworks. I was because of Dr. Taylor and couple other animation tools. Funny, I created a couple animated videos and
Oh,
posted
nice.
on YouTube. One of them is for the community, and of course, I done animation gig here and there. But software development got me
Oh, okay.
hooked. So yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So
All right.
that's
Nice to meet you, O'Shane. And I would also like to see your animations, so you can also share it if you have access to it.
yes, I will. I will.
All right. And Arville, I know that name, So Arville must be one of my students in the ICT program. Always bothering me.
Most definitely, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. So, as you know, I'm a student of the VTDI. Specifically, ICT student, and I'm specializing in software development and mobile development. And my interest for animation goes far back, even before I joined even before I joined VTDI. Usually just back from the Nintendo DS days when you could use the stylus and draw different animations, like a flip book. And since then I've explored different mediums. The one that really grabs my attention right now is 3D. I'm currently learning Maya in
Okay.
this semester of school, and I really just like modeling overall, just modeling objects into complex shapes and furnitures and stuff.
Nice, nice. All right. Thank you so much, Arville. And I didn't even know you were into animation. I just thought you were straight IT, but it's good to, I guess, be multi-talented. So welcome. So who's the Samsung Galaxy person now?
Hi, Robert. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so I'm Jason. I am not a student. I'd call myself a salaryman these days.
Okay.
So I think yeah, my for a very long time actually. I remember back at UE for Dr. Taylor's course, we had to animate something in Alice for our project. Um, I wouldn't be able to show you that project, of course, because I have no idea where that is now. But overall, I think like Jamaican animation has a lot of potential there that we have yet to unlock, and I think the world kind of wants like or craves Jamaican content. So I'm looking forward to your presentation.
All right. Thank you so much, Jason, right? All right.
Yeah, Jason.
All right. So welcome again. I'm gonna just go straight into the presentation.
um
But like I
but
said,
before you do, I kind of want to touch a point on something that Jason said. So Dr. Taylor tend to do a lot of push for animation in the Caribbean. Funnily, that same project that I told you about, it's a dream that I had. My animation that I did for Dr. Taylor project was about Jamaica winning the World Cup. It
wow.
took off. It was well animated and so forth. Just wanted to point out that because it's still a dream, it might be a piped dream, but eventually Jamaica will win the World Cup. You hear it
Okay.
here first. Just wanted to
Awesome.
say that. Continue.
All right. So thanks for sharing the links. I'm going to definitely check out those links in the YouTube page on the YouTube channels, because I'm just curious to see what you guys are working on. Believe you're actually working on animations already. Are you seeing the presentation?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
All right.
good to go.
All right, great. So like I said, it's a discussion. So I guess I have a first question for you. What is animation? Anybody want to respond to that? What is animation? Looking on YouTube.
Animation is my safe space. It's my peace, my getaway from reality. Animation is home. That's what I can tell you from now. And everybody who watch anime will say the same.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I got bumped off Zoom a while ago.
I said animation is my safe space, my home. Away from reality, away the best place to be.
Oh,
And anybody who watches anime will say the same.
okay. That's a good one. It's a escape from reality. Anybody else want to add to that?
So animation is pretty much utilizing static images or some form of frame technology to create like some motion, not necessarily motion picture, but it's like making motion or some activity out of static image to create a storytelling. It might be graphical, it might 2D, 3D, you name it, but yeah, taking static elements to make it seem like it's in motion.
All right, very good, very good. Actually, that's the actual textbook definition. It's animation is an illusion of motion, and it's really taking a bunch of images, each images being a little different than each other, and just rapidly displaying them, and it creates an illusion of motion. So that's exactly what you were saying, you know. And again, it's an escape from reality. It's a way to express our creativity, you know. Animation is bringing things to life that are not alive. So it could be a drawing, or it could be an object, it could be a 3D model, and you're bringing it to life. So I have some bad news for you. All those cartoons you watch on TV, Tom and Jerry and SpongeBob SquarePants or Finding Nemo, or you know, all those cartoons, they're actually not real persons. They're actually not real, you know, but they're real in our hearts and minds, right? They're real in our hearts and minds. And the animation is all about moving people. You know, it tells a story, and it makes us laugh, and it makes us cry, and it touches us, creates an emotional response in us. So that's what it's about, and in a nutshell. But thank you for those responses. But back in the days, like I'm just gonna go over a little history. Maybe back in the 1800s, before the invention of the movie camera, people used to use toys, optical toys, to do animation. For example, this toy here called the Tamatro, where you have a little thing spinning and you're doing like this and it's spinning. So Jamaicans use the buckle scupper, and we had a rubber band. Remember when we were a little bit, and we started spinning it. So that's a Tamatro, and it had an image on one side and it have another image on the other side. And when it spins rapidly, it creates an illusion of motion. So that's an example, you know, of animation back in the 1800s. There are many different toys as well, like the Zoetrope and the Praxinoscope. There's a number of them. But then the movie camera was invented in the 1900s. And look at this big old movie camera. So this one was like the size of a room, compared to nowadays where you have a GoPro right in front of you, your head or something. So this was the very first movie camera, and people realized that people quickly discovered that they could use the technique of frame by frame, where each frame has a different drawing, and once it's rapidly displayed, it creates the illusion of movement. Animation is movement, really, you know. So yeah, it's a little about the history. And so one of the very first cartoons that was created is a silent film by a guy called Winsor McKay, and he created this dinosaur. And about 10,000 pages later, you have a dinosaur with a personality. So this cartoon called Gertie the dinosaur was one of the very first cartoons that was created. And I'm gonna show you a little snippet of it. And Gertie. Everybody seeing the YouTube, right?
No, we're actually not seeing the
No,
YouTube.
no, we're not. We're
Still
seeing
seeing your
Gertie.
slideshow.
Oh, let me. All right. Try this again. See it now?
Yes, yes. And we're hearing you sound.
All right, so I'm just go down to the cartoon. So this is Gertie the dinosaur, the very first animation with a character with personality. And what Winsor McKay did was 10,000 drawings to get this done. So as you can see, animation is not is a field that it takes a lot of work. So if you're looking for short-term results, don't go into animation. If you're in it for the long haul, you can go into animation. All right. So that's a little about Gertie. Very interesting to know the history a little bit, see where we're coming from. And then the Walt Disney Studios came about, and the Walt Disney Studios was a pioneer for animation, and they did a lot of inventions. For example, the multiplane camera here was first created by the Walt Disney Studios, where you have multiplaning effect. Multiplaning is where you have creates an illusion of depth, where you have certain things in the scene are moving faster than other elements in the scene. So things in the foreground are moving faster, and things in the midground are moving slower, and things in the background are moving really slow. And it creates an illusion of depth and the perspective. And so the Walt Disney created that. Walt Disney was one of the first studios also to create a storyboard. Anybody know what a storyboard is?
Yes, but I can't give you a good definition. I've used it in my company and so forth, but for some reason, not a good definition in my head right now.
All right, thanks, Ashif. So a storyboard is basically a drawn script. Right? It's a drawn script, like a comic. And so yeah. In 1928, Steamboat Willie was one of the first cartoons that was created by Walt Disney, and it was one of the first cartoons with synchronized sound. Let's take a look at that one. Here we go. This is a famous, one of our all-time favorite cartoons. So the animation is synchronized with sound. So that's Steamboat Willie. Right. And so over the years, animation evolved.
You got bumped off, Robert?
Yeah, I keep getting bumped off. I think it's because of the internet connection. We have a connectivity issue here.
Oh, okay.
So it seems to happen every couple minutes.
Oh,
Yikes.
oh no. Technology is failing us today.
Yeah, it's because I'm actually in Trinidad, guys. I'm actually at an animation festival called Anime Carib, and I'm at the hotel now. So I'm using the hotel Wi-Fi, so maybe it's why. But it's been an amazing experience so far because I've been meeting a lot of persons, players in the animation industry, and I've been learning a lot of new things. So going to the festivals and markets are really important because you get to really meet with, it's a unique opportunity to meet with international experts and learn from them. You know, it's the fastest way to learn from the person who been there, done that, you know, and successful, and network with them because this industry, animation, is all about collaboration. It's not a one-man show. It's not, I mean, you have animators who are freelancers and they can work on small projects, but if you're going into animation, you should start thinking about teamwork. Teamwork is very important, and collaboration. Animation is all about collaboration. So that's why I'm here, to see if I can meet some persons who I can collaborate with. And already today I met with a studio. I went to a studio and they said they have some overflow work for me. So overflow work is that they have too much work that they can't handle. So they were willing to share some of that work with me. So it's really important, you know, go out there and seek the work. So anyway, so I'm rambling. So back to the presentation. We were talking about the different techniques in animation and how it evolved. So eventually, one of the first techniques that was used is traditional 2D animation. It's where everything was drawn frame by frame, as was mentioned before, I think by O'Shane, and on cells. So this is animator here drawing. He's drawing on a cell, and it was connected to a peg bar, and he's on his artboard drawing. Very tedious process, and he has his flip book here, right? And then he flips the pages. But eventually, other techniques came in with the advances of computer technology, 3D animation. See here? So the 3D animation requires that, and some of you are already delving and dabbling into the whole thing. Building and modeling a 3D animation model in a 3D software like Maya or ZBrush or one of those software, Blender, Unity. And yeah, it's used a lot now in the industry. Let me ask a question. Which one of these are 2D and which one of these are 3D? See if you know, have an understanding of what I'm talking about.
Aladdin would be the 2D, and Toy Story would be the 3D. I'm sure
Yep.
we're all aware of this answer.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. So, right, Disney. Aladdin was created by Disney and it was a 2D feature film. Toy Story was one of the, and that's Hank. It was one of the first 3D animation feature films to be created back in the days. And there's a saying that says if one person was supposed to create Toy Story, it would take one person 800 years to create Toy Story. But if it can take 800 persons 3 years to create Toy Story. So the point I'm trying to make is that it's not a one-man show. It's all about collaboration and working on larger projects, right? Something very, very, very important. All right, let's take a look at another one. Which one is 2D and which one is 3D? Anybody else?
The left is 2D and the right is 3D.
Right. So, I mean, you can see by the style of it, it's kind of, you can see and know. So the 2D one, it looks kind of flat, maybe traditional. I think that's from the Beauty and the Beast. What's her name? I think it's Belle, if I'm not mistaken. And on the right is a 3D character. It looks more three-dimensional. It has, you can see more lighting on, you know, not as flat as the first one. So that's an idea of the two different techniques. And so, yeah, there's a competition going on now, you know, 2D versus 3D. It's a battle. Well, quote unquote battle, because you have the 2D fans and you have the 3D fans, right? And the 2D fans, I'm a 2D fan, so I don't really delve into 3D. And you have the 3D fans who don't really delve into 2D, but you have the generalists who try a little of everything. So there's a little battle going on there, I would say, or a competition. And just to let you know, based on recent trends, and I've been reading a lot of these research on the animation, the global animation industry, articles, research done. The market is right now is the segment is divided half and half. So there is a segment, there's like 40-something% of this market globally is 2D animation. Another maybe a little bit higher is 3D animation, 40-something%. And then the rest of it is other forms of animation. But the global market segments constitute of mainly 2D and 3D animation. And the future trends are showing that we're going towards 3D animation, and the 2D animation is kind of dying out. If you watch cartoons, if you're keeping track of the market trends, you will realize that for yourself that Disney stopped creating 2D animations, and they announced it a couple of years ago that they'll be stopped creating 2D animations. And it's because the box office revenues for the 3D films are grossing higher than the box office revenues for the 2D animation films. So back in the 1990s when the Lion King came out and so huge revenues. But then things started dwindling down when 3D animation, 3D feature films came about, like Toy Story and Ants. Those early Disney Pixar films came out. Realizing that more persons are going on to watch those shows. And so that's what's happening now. And the future trends show that a lot of it will be done going to 3D animation. Even gaming as well. Gaming, a lot of 3D animation used, like Fortnite, Warzone, and all those games. Not much so 2D animation again. You might see a few 2D animation type platformers, 2D platformers. They're called Cupheads. Anybody ever play Cupheads? It's a really cool game to play. So yeah, right. So just a little about the market though, and I also wanted to mention that so for 2D animation, you'll see a lot of episodic or series on the networks on television. So for example, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Toon, Boomerang, they show a lot of 2D animations. Shows like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball, the series. You have Final Space on Netflix. Lots of them. Teen Titans Go. I don't know. It's too much. Adventure Time. So there's a large segment for 2D animation still. It's still a growing. It's still there's still a market there for it. And in terms of cost and time, it's cheaper, simpler, and easier to create 2D animation in comparison to 3D animation. So that's why many companies would want to choose the 2D animation pathway. Plus, kids still love it. Kids still love Teen Titans Go, or Adventures of Gumball. It's a huge following, So and plus, especially for the younger toddlers, they'll watch a lot of these 2D animation, like Dora the Explorer and stuff. So, and Peppa Pig, right? Very simple, minimalistic, simple animation, but has a huge, kids love them. So there's still a demand for 2D animation, even though the market is trending towards 3D animation, especially with gaming and feature films. But series, 2D animation. So that's a little about the battle. But there are also other types of animation, guys. Stop motion animation, not such a big market segment, but it's still there. Anybody know which show this is? Let's see, you know which show this is. I think it's Chicken Little, if I'm not mistaken. But stop motion is where you have a clay puppet that is on an armature, and you move it take a picture. Move it, take a picture. Move it, take a picture. It's very tedious. Maybe even more tedious than the 2D and 3D animation there. And yeah, it's still being utilized, but not as much as 2D and 3D animation. Motion capture is a technique where you capture the movement of a character or an actor who is wearing a bodysuit or a helmet to capture the facial expressions and puts it into the 2D or 3D animated character. So a lot of video game developers have this technology now, mocap. They call it mocap. So that's for short, mocap. So you no longer have to manually animate the character. It cuts out a lot of that painstaking, tedious process by capturing the motion, and it's very lifelike. That's why the video game developers like Fortnite would use it to capture those dancing emotes, I know, which is popular. So yeah, motion capture. Animation, for many people might say, all right, animation is cartoons, but actually animation is not just cartoons. Animation has two categories: entertainment animation and non-entertainment animation. And so under entertainment animation, these are some of the things that will come up, cartoons, CGI movies, like Fast and Furious. Those are real action movies. But they use animations to create things that you could not create in real life, like those action sequences with the cars flipping and stuff. A lot of those things, CGI, episodic series, short films. Short films are becoming more popular nowadays, and it's where most of us would start doing our animations because they're short and you want to get your name out there. You want to create something on YouTube. But the future trends are showing that short films will come back into play. As a matter of fact, if you go on Netflix, you'll see some short film, a short film category on Netflix, on Amazon Prime, on Hulu. So it's another category. Web series, graphic novels, video games. That all comes under the umbrella of entertainment animation. But there's also a huger, bigger industry called non-entertainment animation. So animation is used in marketing, those animated advertisements, ads, right? Animated ads on social media, on television. Architecture uses animation. Somebody was mentioning one before that they use Maya to do their 3D models of houses, buildings. Architects use those things, clients do 3D walkthrough. The governments are creating models of the roads before they actually build it. Use a lot in architecture and medicine. Companies use explainer videos to explain something that is complicated and complex. Say that a picture is 1,000 words, but an animation is like 1,000,000 words. It explains something very easily and simply to a client. So the client comes in, you have a meeting, they'll use an explainer video to explain it. Governments use animation to do public service announcements to just talk about something like climate change or take the vaccine. And the government, actually, Jamaica government was using that a lot during COVID-19. We see the vaccines running a race. Remember that commercial? There were two vaccines. AstraZeneca was running against other vaccine. So that was quite funny. So yeah, animation brings out the creativity in an organization. It sends a message in a fun and entertaining way. Yep. So there's lots of careers in animation here, and these are just some of them actually I just picked out. So animation is not just about animating. There's the script writer. So if you want to be a writer, you need a story. Writing, communication, illustrators. They would do character designs, storyboarding, concept art when developing your concept to pitch to a broadcaster. Yeah, 2D animators, 3D animators, cutout animators, in-between animators, lead animators, lots of different types of animators. Storyboard artists, as I mentioned before, background designers, Some of these require good drawing skills, some not. In my third, so going down, you have a production manager, not necessarily good at drawing or good at the creativity side, but good at managing a production and the schedule. This is a business person. This is a person who goes around, ensures everything is on time and within budget. Yeah. In the middle row, we have persons on the higher level, executive producer. An executive producer is really a big name that you want to get to be a part of your show, like a Will Smith. I think Will Smith was an executive producer for the Jamaican film called Sprinter. Remember that film that was on Netflix? And sometimes he doesn't really do anything. The executive producer don't do anything, just the name. And once you have that person on your show, well, they actually help because they can secure funding for the show. So that's one of their jobs, is to seek investment, and they have a lot of contacts and money. They're usually rich, wealthy people. So they usually contribute to the development of the show. Then you have the producer, which is more on the grounds. This is the person who takes the risk of the intellectual property, who owns it and takes a lot of risk and distributes the IP across. He's a producer for the show. The director, well, not direction. The director is the creative mind behind the show. Some people call him the crazy person. He's the loony person who you can never satisfy this person, like a James Cameron or a Steven Spielberg. He has a creative direction for the show. He has a vision for the show. The creative mind, the director. The animation studio CEO, very business-minded person. Animation supervisors, line producers. Line producers ensure that he goes to the different departments and ensure that everything is running according to schedule. Graphic designers, I put it there because I think it's a part of the animation industry. I think graphic designers do have some skills in animation as well. Most of us started out as graphic designers anyway, and then we started going to animation. Or persons who are good at Photoshop and Adobe would eventually start dabbling in animation. The motion graphic artist is a good field to go into in Jamaica. Because in Jamaica, there's a demand for motion graphics. But you know what motion graphics is?
Yeah, so I remember I saw this ad where basically this guy had the cereal bowl and that cereal bowl got filled with cereal. I think how he did it was that he had the camera over the bowl and he moved the items like one by one. I don't remember his name though.
Yeah. That's pretty much, so motion graphics is used a lot in commercials on TV, or companies use it, and it's a form of animation that's used for advertising. And it's moving text and moving images, really, across moving images. So a lot of advertisements on TVJ and CVM uses motion graphics. It's moving the text and moving images. It's used a lot software. Anybody know what kind of software is used to do motion graphics? Which software is mainly used? Anybody know that? Adobe After Effects is used a lot to do motion graphics. So if you want to check that one out, you can try that software. It's one of the most widely used software, After Effects. But there are others as well. So I think Blender or Maya can be used to do motion graphics.
Yeah. I've used Blender, and recently I've started to use Filmora to do motion graphics, even though it's more towards cinematic like YouTube video type.
Right. So it's a good one to go into in Jamaica. Good to learn. But these are some of the careers in animation. Do you have any questions about this or any comments? Anybody?
Yeah, I have one. You can go ahead, Shane.
Well, it's more towards where do we find these jobs? It's yeah.
All right, where do you find these jobs? So I'm gonna go into that now. So animation industry is very new in Jamaica. It's an emerging industry. So a lot of the jobs are actually global, overseas. There are some jobs in Jamaica. I'm gonna go into that in detail when we go through what's going on in Jamaica as well. Right. So you should think globally. If you want to go into animation in Jamaica, you should think globally. Meaning you might have to be traveling to to look for the work. The beauty about animation is that you can work from the comfort of your home. You know, but because it's an emerging industry in Jamaica, it's not highly in demand in Jamaica. So more persons to go to ICT and other fields that are highly in demand. But the government of Jamaica and other multilateral organizations like the World Bank and the IDB see animation as an area for job creation and foreign exchange into the country because we have an advantage. But we need to do the training and we need persons to go there and start up studios and go there and get the work and bring it back to Jamaica. There's an advantage here. So it's an industry that the job market is hard in Jamaica, but you can get the job if you put your name out there and you have a good portfolio. Because I've been getting work, it's been working for me, and other persons here as well in Jamaica, working from their homes, have their business, and yeah, we can talk about that a little bit more. But we're encouraging persons to do it because I think the government wants to do it because they want to diversify the economy. And when you have a diverse economy, it's a stable economy. And during the COVID-19 period, animation was very resilient, especially gaming and animation, because everybody was home watching Netflix and playing video games. Not necessarily the box office, but anyway, something to think about. So, it segues right into the next topic. Why animation?
Before you do, I do apologize to cut in. I think Jason had a question related to what you had asked.
Yeah.
So Jason, you want to go ahead and ask the question before we move on?
Yeah, I think I have a couple questions. The first one is, do you know what's the largest animation studio in Jamaica currently?
Yes. Yes, so our studios, I'm gonna go through the studios. They're not really big. Let's skip to that slide actually. All right, so these are some studios that I was able to identify. Liquid Light Digital, which focuses on some 3D animation. Listen Me Studio, and my studio, Imagine Toon Studio, Night Vision Media Limited. There are a number of studios. I just mentioned 4 of them. They are minor players. They're not big players in the industry. They are startup companies. The average size is about 5 to 15 persons on staff. And they hire a lot of contract workers based on the availability of work. So we don't have the large scale studios as yet. This is the vision that we want. We want to be able to have studios that can take on lots of work. Studios with 60, 70, 80, 100, 200, 300 animators, 400 animators. You know, we're a part of the business process outsourcing industry. I've been attending many markets, and based on discussions with the animation studios and producers, they want to send the work to the Caribbean. It's just that we do not have the capacity. So if we can get our studios to that capacity, then we will get work. But then the problem is, how do you get the financing to get to that capacity? These are some of the challenges in the industry, right?
Yeah, I think that leads into my next question. So, like, let's say, like, what's the process like start up a animation studio? Is it like starting up any other company? And secondly, are there any like government grants or any grants for like starting up animation studios?
Yes. Okay, so yes and yes. So to start up a studio is just like starting a normal company. You go to the company's office of Jamaica and you register the name, register the company as an animation studio. That's probably the very, very first thing you need to do. You start, the other thing you would need to do is maybe start creating a demo reel or portfolio and creating a website and creating social media pages so you can start promoting and marketing your studio. The other thing you need to do is set up a business account at a bank here to work on the accounting aspect of it. And I would say start small, but think globally. There are government grants and so that can help you, because I did receive help from the Development Bank of Jamaica to do my website. I didn't have to pay for it. So there are companies that can help you. There are government that can help, but you have to seek them out and find them. So maybe like the Jamaica associations assist with those things. Like this association and other entities, they will tell you opportunities that are out there. But not a lot, but it's a start. It's a start.
All right. I think I'll have a couple more questions, but I can wait until you go through your
Yeah. You can probably go to even like the Jamaica Small Business Association. There's another association of entrepreneurs. I don't remember the name of them. There's a Jamaica Animation Nation Network. So you have to really go there and find out where these grants are, but there are grants and funding. All right. There's also a business loan that you can get, but I would not advise a bank loan. So no, globally, the animation industry is valued at $375 billion US in 2021. It's a lot of money, and it grows every year. It's at growth rate of 5% per annum. So it's a growth industry. And the recent trends have been showing that a lot of the work from North America has been outsourced to countries in the East, Asian Pacific countries like South Korea, India, Philippines, and Malaysia, all over the rest of the world. For example, all the episodes for The Simpsons were created in South Korea. All the pre-production is done in North America, which is the storyboarding, their script writing. But because it's cheaper to produce in South Korea, and South Korea have the technology, they send all the work over there, produce the animation, and it comes back to America to do post-production work, which is just final refinement and publishing, broadcasting. So that's one of the trends. So there's a gap now because South Korea and all those countries, Philippines, Malaysia, have been starting to create their own content. And there's a large demand globally for outsourcing of animation. So the government of Jamaica and Jampro also sees Jamaica as a potential hotspot for the outsourcing of animation. It's just that to build the capacity, build the studios, do the training, go to the markets. And so, yeah, Jamaica is closer in proximity to North America, Canada, USA, huge markets in animation. Jamaica is in the same time zone. We speak the same language in comparison to those other countries that speak a different language. And we have an affinity, a cultural, we can relate with their culture. We can communicate with them. Talent exists here. We're a very creative country. We've done it with the music. We look about with Talo, done it in sports. I don't see why we couldn't do it in animation. Yeah. So what Jamaica has been doing is these are the different training programs that we have in animation now. And this list is not comprehensive. There's an associate degree at the VTDI in animation. It's a 2-year program. There's a bachelor's degree in animation, UTech, a bachelor's degree at UWI. These are 4 years. There's a bachelor's degree at Edna Manley as well. So there's a number of training programs that have been teaching animation. Lots of students being taught in animation over the past couple of years. If you want to try out a good animation school online, check out Anim School. They teach 3D animation, and a lot of the lecturers there has worked at Disney and Pixar. Very good school to go to, and it's online. Also, if you want to try 2D animation, you can try Toon Boom online courses. A little about the training programs. We spoke about the two studios. They're not really big, but this is what we have. Any questions so far? All right. Also in Jamaica, we have the Jamaica Animation Nation Network, which is a network, an association that's trying to build a community of animators, which is very important for the animation industry. Community engagement, community development, working together, right? It's all about collaboration. So through the Jamaica Animation Nation Network, we have the training, they have workshops on a monthly basis. They'll have international speakers come in and talk to us. They'll have some workshops. They also tell us about opportunities, like when the next festivals and competitions will be. They have job opportunities as well. So when we go on, we can share the work with each other. If I get a work and I may need a storyboard artist, I will go to the Jamaica Animation Nation Network or somebody who I know from the network, and we get some work done. So it's also a good place to join if you want to tap into this industry, you know what I mean? These are the links. animationjamaica.com, Facebook, they have on there, also on Instagram. You can become a member. Yeah. The government has been doing some work, and this is where I was working with the Office of the Prime Minister. We provided equipment to various schools offering animation, motion capture, computers, software, drawing tablets. We also did a business development program where we went to different markets with the animation studios and entrepreneurs and students. We went there with students and freelancers and schools, check out the different markets and festivals. As a matter of fact, all right, so let me tell you how the markets work. You go there and get work, network, meet people and get work. So in this picture right here, I was standing, there's a lady right below, there's a lady sitting where I was standing. Her name is Kimberly, right? Lady with the brown hair. She's from Sesame Workshop, Sesame Street. So because of going there and meeting her there, and she came up to our booth one day and said, "Are you guys from Jamaica?" I said, "Yes." "What's going on? Are you developing an animation industry?" We said, "Yes, these are our players." She's Jamaican as well. And she migrated and she works at Sesame Street. Out of that discussion, a couple of years later, a number of our local guys created shorts for Sesame Street. And it was premiered on HBO. So that's how the markets work. You know, you just go there and just build relationships, just be friends, honest, open relationships with people. And after a while, they see you continue coming back to the markets. "Robert, you're here again. We have some work for you. You know, can you do the work? How much animators you have? Show me your demo reel." And it works. I'm telling you, it works. Going to the different markets. So a lot of times, animators, they're saying they're not getting any work, but you need to actually go out and get the work. So as somebody was saying before, like, how do we start out? You may need to invest in yourself to go to a market. Yeah, Anime Carib is here. We're here now. We're planning to go to Kids Screen next year, February. That's a little about markets. There are also local markets as well. I've been to AnimeCom. It's not a big market, but I'll go there and we have a booth, get students for our program. We network, meet other animators, other creators. If I have enough work, I will share it with the animator, or if they have work, they will share it with me. So that's how it works. Marketing. We also had a Kingston Animation Festival. Where we had competitions, conferences, workshops, panel discussions. And it really was about giving visibility to Jamaica as like to be an animation hub of the Caribbean and attract attention of the international players. So out of Kingston now, a lot of global players. Jamaica was now on the map for a destination for animation. Oh, Jamaica has an animation conference. So when we would have went to the international markets like MIPCOM and Kidscreen, they knew about Jamaica. You guys have an animation conference. You guys are doing training. So it gives visibility, like, you know, it attracts their attention. And a number of the players came to Jamaica too, like from different companies, from Disney and Nickelodeon and stuff like that. They came there and checked it out. This guy there came from Cartoon Network. That's from Bento Box, Joel Kuhara, they work on Bob's Burger. To his right, you have, who's that again? He works at Bardell Entertainment, so they did Angry Birds and Rick and Morty. So, you know, they would come to Jamaica and invite them and we learn from them, and we still keep in touch with them. Right, so that's a Kingston, and we hope to continue it soon. And these are some of the festivals, guys, that you can attend. I would suggest that you attend the Lignum Vitae Film Festival, which is hosted by school at an NCU. It's in next year, I think April. This festival is dear to me because I entered a short film there one time and I won a lot of awards. And right after the festival, I was approached by by Empress Golden to do work for her. So that's how the festival works. You have to like enter competitions as well. You have to kind of stand out. Gatfest Film Festival is hosted by UE. There's another one you can enter. You can enter live action films or animations. Animator, which I'm at now, it's in October. Gatfest is in May. Annecy is a really good festival, international festival. You can afford it. Go to France, Annecy. And that one is, I think it's also in June. MIPCOM is the biggest film festival in the world, animation and film festival. I've been there a couple times. Kidscreen is the one for kids in Miami. It's a hop away. So like, if you want to really be a part of this industry, it's important to go there and learn how to start your studio. Learn from persons who have been successful with their studios. You know, how do I start up a studio? How do I learn this? Or, you know, there's workshops, you know, and you can enter the competitions as well. Yep. I'm wrapping up now. How to become an animator. So this is just for animators, like 2D and 3D animators. Drawing is really important, guys. Drawing is really important. Studios are looking for persons who can draw. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It's the foundation skills. 2, get trained. So you can go to a university, do a bachelor's in animation, associate in animation, get formal trained. 3, master the softwares. Learn the ZBrush, Pixelogic ZBrush for 3D animators. Learn the Maya. Learn Adobe entire Adobe Suite, After Effects, Premiere, Adobe Photoshop. You know, the entire suite. Learn Toon Boom Harmony for 2D animators. Or you can learn other software like Moho or Blender, which is free. You know, there's lots of open source software there. For gaming, you start learning Unity, which is open source, or you can learn Unreal Engine. It's all free. And master them. Learn the principles of animation. 4, learn the principles of animation. There are principles. If you don't learn them, your animation will not look good. 5, study the greats. This is something we do all the time. We study the great animators, you know. Richard Williams is one of my mentors. And the 9 Disney great old men. Study them. Ollie Johnson and stuff. Study them and learn about them. Learn how they did it. Have a portfolio. So your portfolio is like the single most important thing you'll need to get a job. Yeah, you need to have one of them. Yep. Your portfolio is all that matters. Get experience in a studio, even if it's online, because I know some of my lecturers right now are working in international studios, working on international shows. I have lecturers who worked on Final Space, who worked on Cloud with a Chance of Meatballs from their home in Jamaica, and especially with COVID-19, they were able to get more work because the international studios are looking for more outsourcing, remote workers. It works. Some of my lecturers have worked on World of Warcraft, developing assets, and Clash of Clans. You know, you just need to put your name out there and go to the different festivals and, network. Your network is your net worth. Yeah, so you get experience in the studio, attend animation film festivals, attend the markets, join the associations, to get your name out there. So that's
All right.
my little roadmap.
I can add to that as well. That's something that a lot of people don't realize, because after watching all these movies and stuff, and you see animation done a certain type of way, most people believe that when they're doing animation, it should stay or look similar to what they've seen out there. However, you can draw, however you can animate, even a stick figure is still animation. Still practice it, still do it, because your style of art is your style of art. So you have to do it how you feel comfortable doing it, and animate it as such, and it will take off in whichever way it's supposed to take off. That's my 2 cents on it.
Okay.
And I've been messing with animation as a hobby since I didn't get the chance to follow the scholarship that I had gotten at the time. I still do it as a hobby. I don't really do it professional. I don't even do it for anything. I do it for my son right now. I animate stuff for my son. I animate him. I have him singing, watching the floor is lava thing, or playing Roblox, and I animate him doing all of that. That's just my little fun thing now. But since there is an environment for it now on the island, I will look into it and give my 2 cents as best as I can.
All right, thank you so much. So that concludes my presentation, guys. This is my contact information. If you ever need any animation done, reach out to me. I'm ready and available to do it for you. Or if you need assistance with any training programs, to come to VTDI, join the animation VTDI program, you can always reach out to me. The next one starts next year, September. My business name is Imagine Tune. So you can just Google that, imaginetune.com, and check out my portfolio. It's my phone number. It's my personal number there. I'm on WhatsApp. You can always reach out to me, And thank you so much for your time. Take a picture. Yes. Hello.
I have 2 questions. Robert?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think first question would be like, how do you feel about the Jamaican anime being made by a non-Jamaican?
I feel good about it. I don't feel good about it, but I commend their efforts. But it reminds me of a show called Rastamos. But ever watch Rastamos? It's
Yes, sir.
It's a motion graphics, and it's been done. It's not been done by Jamaicans, but yet still it have a Jamaican Rastaman. It have our culture in it. It have the reggae music and everything. But Rastamos was not created by Jamaicans. So I think the whole lesson to be learned is that if we don't create our own stories, somebody else will create our own stories for us. If we don't create our own stories, somebody else will create our stories. So, I'm encouraging you to start creating our own stories, because even right now, when I go to the markets, all they talk about is diversity and inclusion. If you look at the shows coming out, Coco, Moana, The Little Mermaid that came out the other day, you're having Afrocentric characters, right? The Little Mermaid, Ariel was black. Coco, Moana, focus on Hawaiian culture, Mexican culture. The market is looking for diverse stories now. And Jamaica has some really, really good stories to tell, and the Caribbean as well. We just need to go to the markets, go there with our stories and talk to the producers. When I went to the markets, it's mostly white people and stuff. We're not going to the markets. So we need to start doing that and bring our stories, bring our pitch Bibles. You go to a store with a concept, go to the market with a concept, a kid screen, just pitch it. Even today at when we went to a studio, they were working on some Caribbean shows, one called Irie Island. And it's because they brought Irie Island. They did the characters, they did a little script, you do your little character design and different characters, and you do a pitch Bible, and you bring it to kid screen. They said they brought it to kid screen, and they got a producer to buy the show, and now they're working on a series. We're not doing that. That's the problem. And I'm not sure why. I think they're expecting the market to come to us. No, the market's not going to come to us. We have to go to the markets. The market kid screen is $1,500 US dollars to go there. And that's just the fee alone to get in. But 1,500 US is a lot of money, you know. But we need to invest in it. So I'm planning to go next year. And I'm planning to go with some shows as well. Yeah. Any questions again?
So, unfortunately, we actually didn't get a chance to look at any of your productions, but it looks like we may have to get you in with us at another time again to share with us some more tricks and trades, because finally getting my computer to behave itself, and we're seeing where you are, as you've said before, you are the coordinator at the Vocational Training Development Institute, and you are actually you have your own startup animation, your own startup animation studio, Imagitoons. So we definitely would, if it's possible, if you could share even the link to some of your publications that are on YouTube to allow persons to get a chance to see some of the work that you've done.
Okay.
But it's clear that you have a lot of skills and a lot of talents that we definitely would love to keep an eye on and hopefully get inspired. Because as you said, we're on the same time zone, we speak English. It's about time we start, creating some awareness around animation in Jamaica, allow more jobs to come to us, and we just wow the place with our creativity, with our talents, because we are little, well, of course.
With power.
All right. Now,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. So do drop the any of your video productions in the chat so that the community, of course, can share and bring about more awareness of some of the great stuff that's happening here in Jamaica. Because you are a Jamaican, you've done a lot of work already that we can definitely see how best we can align with creating, whether it is for the overflow of work, or anything at all. And of course, if it is that you guys have any questions as it relates to participating in our future demos, you can always email us. We're definitely looking out for those emails. If it is that you've realized that there's somebody in the industry, just like Robert, in any industry that is making waves, and we want to just big them up and appreciate them for all their hard work, and of course bring about more awareness, definitely that's an opportunity to email us and get in contact, because of course we're about building a community of developers, building a community of problem solvers. And one of the problems that we clearly have is that, hey, we have persons, somebody dropped off, so we have persons want an avenue to express their creativity. So by all means, use those blenders, use the I missed the other one. There's Blender, Unity, yes, to create those video games, to create those animations. And of course, wow everyone with your creativity and talent. All right.
Well, before we end, let's just take around 3-4 questions towards Robert before, and then we can wrap up. Because I think Jason as well as some others may have some questions, and I also want to point out to you, Robert. So there is a game developer community called Game Developers Society. I'll send the link to you. I actually reached out to the community manager of that uh, community, Glenn Enway, and he also has a game studio, like a game development studio running from Jamaica. So I think that would be a really good link up for both of you. Even though it's two different industry, animation and game development work hand in hand.
Oh, yes.
So yeah.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, that would be good. Because the both industries are related, gaming and animation.
Yes.
So I
I'll
appreciate
send over the information to you. Well, give an Alden to give you. All right. Any questions for Robert?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm here now.
Oh, I think I feel up on it. So, all right, let's say I'm a regular Jamaican youth, right? And more like drive a market or more of a big house in a Kingston. Can animation like get me that lifestyle?
That's an interesting question, Robert.
So hold on there. So
you want to drive a market? I have a big house in Kingston.
Yeah, especially the markets, two of them.
Robert, I'll save you the. Eventually, everything takes time. You just have to pick the right path, find the right type of network to open certain opportunity for you. And with the right team and the efficiency of that team, you can open many doors to build great animation, get a lot of money with assuming the right client, the right opportunity. And yes, it's just, planting your feet in the right space. Very political answer.
Okay, that answer
I think it's possible. I agree.
Right, because if we even look at one of the things that Robert would have said was that there is a demand. So when all other industry would have collapsed during COVID, with he did say there were more demand going out for Netflix persons, staying home and watching animation, persons more stuff being created, more content. We do have no influencers. We do have more advertisement on TV trying to encourage us to buy something, and we do have also more CGI in Marvel. We do recognize that they're not everything can actually be done realistically, if it is that we want to snap a finger and disintegrate somebody. There's some amount of animation that goes into the creation and production of these films. So the reality is this industry can actually afford you that life if it is that you are diligent, if it is that you have created excellent work. Your boss is going to pay you because they realize this talent is really good, and they want the best product out there. So yeah, definitely this is a opportunity for growth.
Yeah, just to add to that, so animation is not a short term it's not a short term what I call it now thing. It's more like a long term. You're in for the long haul, so it's not going to happen overnight. You have to, as I was saying before, do the different things that I was listing before. Get the training, go out and look for work, go to different markets, and have your portfolio. And if you stand out, because it's a global world and it's globally booming, and you can work remotely from home. And if you stand out and you have a really good portfolio or a really good story to tell, you can have a big mansion in Kingston and 5 Mark X, but you have to really stand out and be that extraordinary. You be that extraordinary student, and you have a really good portfolio that is, a really good animator. I know persons, myself, I have a house in Kingston. I don't have a Mark X, but I have a decent car, and it's because, and I'm in animation. I have a, right? Aldin knows. And I'm in animation. I mean, I'm on the training side, so I'm on the production side. So it's possible. It's possible. But we do need entrepreneurs. We need to go there and start up the company. And yes, a Markex. I know Markex may have it on. But
Robert,
yeah.
that was a much better answer than what Shane gave a while ago.
Like I
Well,
said, I gave a political answer to, be safe.
Just be prepared. Like it's a long-term goal. It's not going
right.
to happen overnight.
Right, because if you one of the things that I'm just recalling, one of the things that you have said, Toy Story took 3 years before it was released, to have, and they had what, 800 animators working on it. But if it was one animator, it would have taken that person 800 years. So the reality is work is there, but of course it will take some time to collaborate, to bring the final product together, to edit, to make sure the transitions are smooth, to make sure the facial expression is right when in terms of the sound and the animation coordinating and so on. So that person would have worked on Toy Story, for example, the most of the wealth generated from Toy Story would have probably come in after. Not that I know the contract in terms of how they were paid, but 3 years it took, right, Robert?
Yeah, one of them take 3 years. One Toy Story took 5 years as well to produce. Like 3,000 people work on one of Toy Stories. If you look at the credits, and for one episode of The Simpsons, it takes a couple months, 6 months, and 70 animators in South Korea. So there's a huge demand for animation, huge, and there's a gap. There's a global gap. North America wants to send the work to us, but we just don't have the capacity yet. So we need to have first the skilled labor force, the foot soldiers, the human capital. And from the studio point, we need to have entrepreneurs who can go out and market themselves. Because when you go to the festival or the trade show or the market, you have to pitch your studio. You have to convince the person that I can do the work for you. You have to be good with them, be good friends with them and build relationship with them. If you do those things, man, follow the path, you'll be successful. You will.
Oh, seem like we're having more questions.
Yeah. All right.
Go ahead.
It's an interesting topic, man. An
Andre.
interesting conversation.
Andrew, sorry.
Yeah, so my question is more related to, I guess, where we're heading now, where AI seems to be the thing that's taking over everywhere. And I've seen some animation recently on the internet where they're saying it was completely generated by AI. What are your thoughts on the whole AI movement, Robert, when it comes to animation?
It's really interesting that you brought up that. So when I went to Annecy Film Festival this year, there's a whole panel discussion on AI. And I remember they were talking about, there was an animation that won, and I saw it. It looked so weird. So they use ChatGPT and keywords to do the script. So you just put in the keywords like, I want a story about 2 umbrellas, about 2, like I want a story about a bicycle and a car falling in love. That's kind of weird. But the ChatGPT brought up the script, and then they brought that into a software that, I don't remember the name of the software, but there was a software that created the digital images, AI. And then the animators would go in and augment it and just put it together. So it's not completely AI. And the sound production, the sound was done by AI software. It was very interesting, and it won. And then the discussion came up about who owns the IP rights. Was it the actual animators? But since the computer is doing all the work, it's really the AI, the computer, that owns the IP rights. Like, so it really came up. So I think you can use AI to augment So even right now, persons who enter the competition at Animator, they use AI to augment. You create your script and you just put it in the chat GPT and it augments it and it gives you lots of ideas. So I'm totally for it. You know, yeah. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, for me, definitely using technology to assist or to enhance is all good. But of course, if it is that we want to show our uniqueness or creativity, then of course we have to add our own spice to it, right? So definitely you know, a plus in the right direction to, you know, remove certain barriers or certain restrictions. Perhaps maybe somebody's not necessarily the best, or they may have doubts in terms of their drawing ability, so they may have the AI to create the storyboard or so. But there has to be some amount of the creators input into the this development that is going to give it that edge, give it that unique flavor, give it that you know, something that is worth watching. Because of course we know who we are, and the computer can try to mimic us, but you know, real is real.
Yeah, because when I saw that that submission, it was what it created was something out of this world, something that the human, I don't know if a human could actually create that animation without the assistance of the AI. So it opened up the possibilities, and with animation, the possibilities are endless. Now with AI, it even brings it to a further level. So I'm all for it, as long as Alding was saying. So like, there's always the human element involved, because at the end of the day, we have to go back in and augment it. Very interesting topic.
But of course, for those persons who are worried, it's not fully on board in terms of AI yet. So if it is that you want to run into the industry as soon as possible and stamp your name, so in the next 2 years, you say, wow, you know.
Yeah, you know what you could do is use AI to do an animation and enter it into Annecy, one of those festivals. Because the experimental category is not a category that people enter a lot. So you never know, you might have a strong chance of winning if you do something that's different outside the box, you know?
Okay. So we are coming to the closing. And of course, we definitely want to give a big thank you for all our participants, even those who are on YouTube, who are not in our chat. I'm hoping that we have not missed out on any person commenting in the chat on YouTube. Oshane, anything from that side that's urgent? But of course, you know, want to give a big thank you for those who have joined directly on Zoom and those who are watching us from YouTube.
No, no questions from YouTube at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, and we have seen that coming from Andrew. And for those persons who missed it, yes, or you can of course check out or catalog of from our various presenters, including Mr. Reid here. If it is that you joined late, you can always rewatch, you can always share with your friends, you know, and he has also shared one of his creation, Cabin Chronicles. Was that the YouTube link that I'm seeing that you've shared in the chat? So this is a very funny yet relatable animation that Robert has created. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to go through it together as a community, you know, like Netflix and chill kind of vibe, but you know, check it out on your own time. He has done wonderful work, and I hope you have a laugh. And of course, we have to, of course, thank our sponsors. And if it is that you would like to reach out to us, you have our information. If it is that you want to be a part of the community, as we've said, we try to link try to have job related areas, if it is that we find a need, we definitely will share. And of course, if it is that we would want training and events, you can of course join the community and be a part of that. So thank you all for coming. I hope you have a great evening and look out for our next event. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be doing careers on web development. But of course, we will be definitely looking into seeing how best we can maybe even incorporate Robert in another event, because it's such a wonderful thing that he's done, and we have barely even touched the tip of the ice. So, animation. Is it an area that you'd like to take part in, and you've seen where he's even showed a lot of career opportunities? So here what? Get yourself involved. There's no need to not buy your 5 Mark X and have a nice house. All right. Have a great one, guys. Blessings.
All right. Bye. Take care, everyone.